Honours finished just about even after the opening day of the LV County Championship match between Glamorgan and Leicestershire at Colwyn Bay, a day in which a number of Glamorgan players got in without going on to score anything really big. Alvaro Peterson won the toss and decided to bat in North Wales, and Gareth Rees had an early moment of fortune as Paul Dixie missed a tough chance off the fit again Matthew Hoggard, who was playing his first game for 2 months following an arm injury. Hoggard's disappointment didn't last long, however. Later in the same over, the third of the match, he proved to be too good for Peterson, who was bowled for one on the day that the county announced that Marcus North will take the overseas role at Glamorgan in place of Peterson for 2 years from next summer. Nathan Buck was causing fewer problems at the other end, and he allowed Rees to get moving with a couple of balls which the batsman struck for 4. One a half volley to drive, and the other a leg side ball which was also eased to the boundary by the left-hander. Buck was replaced in the attack by Wayne White, who then bowled Will Bragg around his legs for 6 to lead the home side on 34 for 2. It was nothing more than a steady start by Glamorgan, even though Rees was soon looking good after seeing off the new ball. Watchful in defence, he rarely missed out on a hittable delivery which saw him dominate much of the morning's scoring. He was aided in the first session by Stuart Walters, who's shown some good form since earning his place in the side. The former Surrey man likes to put bat to ball, and he was able to do that as this pair just began to pick up the scoring rate, which had been a little sluggish against the Tiflex ball. Hoggard soon realised that this dry pitch might be helpful for his spinners, but they couldn't prevent Rees from securing his 8th 50 of a profitable summer. This one had come off only 69 balls with 10 fours. Glamorgan were approaching the lunch break in a good position, with Walters attacking Claude Henderson, who he struck over his head for a maximum to bring up the 100. But in the penultimate over of the first session, Walters on 24 was caught on the back foot by Jiganake and was legged before at 105 for 3. Nick James, making his championship debut at the age of 24 after some recent hundreds in the second 11, was able to start his innings in earnest after the break, and he got his career underway with a dab to third man for 4. Rees would have loved to help him through his early overs, but having excelled in making 71, he edged Buck to Will Jefferson, an unmissable figure at second slip. 7 times this summer, Rees has fallen between 50 and 100. That had put the hosts on 122 for 4 against the LV County Championship's bottom county, but James was showing few nerves as he played a couple of fine shots against the Leicestershire seamers. It was an encouraging start for the man who'd spent time on the Warwickshire books before moving to Wales last year. Jim Allenby had joined him at the crease at number 6, and he was soon finding the boundary almost as frequently as Rees had done earlier in the day. The Western Australian had 3 seasons at Grace Road, helping them to success in the T20 back in 2006, so he was familiar with some of their attack. He and James had added 50 for the 5th wicket when James, feeling confident after scoring 37, tried a big shot off Nake and was bowled. The day began to follow a pattern. Leicestershire were unable to get a cluster of wickets, with each of the partnerships getting a good start without the batsman ever really dominating proceedings. Allenby and Mott Wallace then took Glamorgan to tea on 221 for 5. Just before that, Allenby went past his 50 for the 4th time this summer. He used his feet well to Henderson to claim his 8th 4 in an innings thus far lasting 79 deliveries. Alas for him, he was out early in the evening session, drilling a delivery from Henderson to a well-placed James Taylor, a man still glowing possibly from his brilliance for the England Lions in the last week or 2. Allenby was out for 55 at 232 for 6 to end another good, if not punishing, stand of 60. Again, the pattern now continued, with Wallace playing his part well with James Harris, another who's just done well with the Lions. Wallace, like Allenby, had made 55 when he was dismissed. Hoggard got him with the second new ball. Wallace perhaps surprisingly beaten for pace by the former England man, who was enjoying his return after that long layoff with injury. Wallace went with a total on 278, but Harris made sure that the 300 was soon reached with some crunching shots. This was the best of them, a wonderfully timed pull shot off Buck, which travelled all the way for 6. With the total dead on 300 and Harris on a tidy 31, White had the batsman very well held above his head at first slip by Matthew Boyce. But there were to be no more wickets before the close as spin twins Robert Croft and Dean Koska saw out the remainder of the day with few difficulties. Their unbroken partnership of 28 meant that there were no real winners on this first day. The second will begin with Glamorgan looking to add to their 328 for 8 before seeing what their bowlers can achieve. From a national perspective, there will be yet more interest in Taylor, who may get the nod from England for the one-day squads to be announced soon. It's unlikely that the selectors will be judging their decision on events at Colwyn Bay, however.